On this episode, we'll be talking about how to build an effective Space Marine army without breaking the bank at the same time. 1,000 points or bust. The Space Marines are the poster boys for Warhammer 40,000 in general, and the most immediately recognizable in the game. These genetically enhanced, power-armored super soldiers are the last word in the Imperium's wars, and come in a variety of different flavors. This particular video won't be covering tactics or recommending which chapter to play, of which there are many, but we will be building a battalion list that will help you get used to the way that Space Marines play. Of course, you will need the Space Marine Codex and the Warhammer 40,000 rulebooks to play the game, available at the link down below. So let's get started. The most effective way to get your vanilla Space Marine army started is to start with the Start Collecting box. This will feature one of your HQ choices and one of your troops choices in a convenient and readily available fashion. The Captain and Terminator armor and the Tactical Squad come with a variety of options, and then we will fill that out after that with another Tactical Marine Squad kitted out in my list the same way. Now, it's important to note that I build these lists with the most expensive options in play because the most important thing about Tactical Marines is their tactical flexibility. Your list might vary greatly depending on what your loadout is. However, in the case of this list, I've given them a las cannon and a melta-gun because those are the most expensive options possible. Now, right after such a thing, you can also build Devastator Squads, which are your designated heavy weapons guys. I have also kitted them out in this list with 4 las cannons to destroy any sort of tank you might come up against. However, once again, depending on what you want to see in your army, you can build them with missile launchers or grav cannons or heavy bolters or anything that your heart may desire. The next thing we've got on our list is Assault Marines, because if there's one thing that Space Marines do well, it's come screaming in on wings of fire to chop enemies to bits. You can kit them out with all sorts of different weapons like plasma pistols or flamers, or in the Sergeant's case, the giant eviscerator chainsword, which will make a fairly devastating charge to any unit that it encounters. Filling out our troops detachment, we have Space Marines with sniper rifles, also available with missile launchers, but in this case, you want something that can pop characters very easily. Characters are extremely important in low-level games because they're the ones doling out all the buffs, and if you have a counter to that in the form of Space Marine Scouts, then you are in business. The final item on our list is the Space Marine Librarian, a powerful psychic unit who can punch above his weight class, and also buff your boys to make sure that they don't get horribly murdered by, say, space orcs or space elves or whatever other nastiness you might be facing. The final thing to note is that the venerable dreadnought that is included in the Start Collecting box set is, in fact, part of this list as well. You can kit it out in a number of different ways. Now, I, of course, went with the missile platform, which is 1 missile launcher and 1 twin las cannon. But you can, of course, kit it out in any way you like, especially if you want a heavy close combat punch to back up your Assault Marines. This list is not super competitive, but then if you're only playing a 1,000-point army, you're probably not worried about being competitive right now. This will give you a good start, though. This list is built to give you some tactical flexibility with weapons loadouts, which is a strength of regular Marines over the Primaris ones. The list has good anti-infantry, anti-tank, and anti-character, plus it buffs well with the Captain in support and the Librarian's psychic powers. This is a bit of a Swiss Army list, but when you're just starting out the game, or just a new army in general, I think it's a good way to get your feet wet. This list is by no means exhaustive, but it should give you an idea of just what a Space Marine army should look like to start with. And if you go to the Fantasy Games website, you can see this army and everything I've shown you here today under our 1,000 points or bust subsection to get a jumpstart on collecting. Once you get your head around it, you can come on back and get your paints and supplements and data cards to really get your game on. And once you're ready for more Marines, there are plenty more models to collect. Maybe try a few Terminators, or another Dreadnought, or a ride for your Tactical Marines. And they're all available at Fantasy Games. Thanks for watching.